This is the real show. This is the real shit. This is the show where moments happen when you least expect it. As I said back in my NXT review, tonight, as we enter the last couple weeks of the Wednesday Night Wars, as NXT is supposed to be moving to Tuesday night starting on April 13th next month, we had, in my opinion, NXT had the stacked card this week. The more promising lineup it looked like. But even though, AEW didn't have the most stacked card itself, it took that fist. They cocked that fist, man. If you remember whenever Deluxe Man used to say that about Roman Reigns. Cock that fist, man. They got that fist ready, of course in AEW terms, and it gave NXT an orange punch. It literally knocked them out dead cold this week. A week where I was a little more hyped, excited for NXT than AEW. Oh boy. Oh boy. I said last night we got already a candidate for worst segment of the year on Raw with Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon. We already have a candidate for best segment of the year. And this show, needless I say, already has me excited for Double or Nothing. I mean, I don't know what to expect, but it has me very intrigued, very wondering what direction we're going with Double or Nothing. And we have a couple little things that could be set it up for, but we'll have to wait and see. But guys, what's going on? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and I am here live just shortly after midnight on a work night to give you my AEW Dynamite live review of the March 10th, 2021 edition that took place at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. This is the Fallout show from AEW Revolution 2021 as we are now on the road to AEW Double or Nothing, taking place on May 30th, 2021 in just about 2.5 months, I would say. It'll be here before you know it. It will definitely come before you know it. Like I said, outstanding show. I mean, it was good, but that ending, the last half hour, 45 minutes of this show was gold. Especially that swerve at the very end. Oh my gosh, did they get me. They had me going from like, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh, what the hell to, what the? That's what this show got me going in the last portion. But let's talk about it. First, let's get into, the early stuff. We opened up with a match between Matt Jackson and Rey Fenix. One half of the tag team champions versus one half of the number one contenders for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Obviously, we've seen these two collide whenever we see matches between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros, which they get definitely put on some very excellent matches, for sure. I thought these two could work well, have excellent chemistry, and we have a couple flip pile drivers in there, a couple really good near falls, a third sharpshooter that got denied. Pac was taken out with a super kick, but then Rey Fenix eventually wins with the Phoenix Driver. Rarely we see champions lose in AEW clean, but it's a one-on-one match, so it's not the end of the world. But that's kind of a way to kind of hype up whenever they do get that AEW World Tag Title shot with Death Triangle, which again, I'm confused also. Did I miss something, or when is like Penta L Zero kind of more so on its own, based off of the match we're going to be getting next week with Penta L Zero and the hype we got in the promo for that, which I'm actually very intrigued by. We're going to be getting a pay-per-view caliber. We're going to be getting a couple pay-per-view caliber matches next week on Dynamite. Again, NXT's card this week was stacked. Dynamite's card's even more stacked for next week. And of course, like I said, with things such as grabbing, Sting, Christian Cage, the ending to this show, Kenny Omega, going to Impact. He's going to be fighting at Rebellion, I believe it is, for the in a title match for both the AEW World Championship and the Impact World Championship as well. Oh my goodness. They are really going all in, and really, well, we'll get to Kenny in it shortly, but like I said, that was a good start. We also get a video package from Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. I was surprised to see Moxley this soon. With how the story was going with him and Kenny, I thought, it probably would have if the exploding barbed wire, grand finale would have worked out well. But here's also where I give AEW credit. They took that mistake and tried to turn it into something to make it feel like it made more sense. And to me, I think they did a good job with it. They actually, again, WWE would have just, made, fools out of themselves trying to cover up for their mistake, or not even admit that it was a mistake. AEW, at least, they tried to, make it work, and to me it did. AEW said that he got the explanation he wanted. When he saw the countdown and the flashes, he had a flashback to the worst anxiety when he was under arrest and about to be taken off the Sing Sing, and he blacked out. Call him a coward. He's not talking to you. He's talking to people that know where he's coming from. Kenny Omega thinks this is all a game. He didn't scar his hand playing video games. And you think you're the Joker? You think you're funny? Moxley says he thinks that Kenny was really trying to blow him up. And they come to the conclusion that Impact paid for the explosion because it didn't go through. But Moxley asked if the box said Acme, and says he had high school science projects that were more explosive, and all he got was this goofy T-shirt. He didn't win the title, but he did get his drinking buddy back. And they bicker all friendly about whether or not Eddie could have come out to help him sooner, but Moxley tells Omega he just made a big mistake, and if he brings his weapons, he needs to be ready to use it. And on that, one promo fixed everything. You should never doubt Eddie Kingston note, and all this and that. We got that, which again, that and what we got later on with, of course, Kenny Omega. Again, I think AEW, again, like I said, did a good job, covering up from that mistake and just making up for the fact that, that ending that went horribly wrong with, the ring supposed to be collapsing at the end, with the barbed wire after 30 minutes just didn't go over well at all. And yeah, I still agree that Eddie Kingston should not have sold it as hard as he did. But, again, at least AEW is admitting they screwed up, and again, just not being full of their egos like WWE. We all know they always are. Cody Rhodes then squashed Seth Gargis, whatever the heck his name is. But after the match, though, Cody was interviewed about his injured shoulder. Before he's able to answer, though, out comes Penta El Zero Miedo. He calls out Cody, tells Cody to shut up, and asks Alex Marvez to translate. He's 1,000 times better than Cody, and that if Cody is the Prince of Pro Wrestling, then Penta El Zero Miedo is the Lord of Lucha Libre. He switches to English and laughs at Cody, calling himself the American Nightmare. He reminds Cody that he lost at Revolution, and if it was just the two of them, he would have lost more than the match. And then Penta El Zero says that Cody's lucky he didn't focus on his own arm, because if he did, he wouldn't be able to pick up his newborn baby, which pushed it too far. Cody had enough, and he jumps the guardrail to attack Penta El Zero, and the locker room pulls him apart, and we're getting a match with Penta El Zero Miedo and Cody Rhodes next week. Whoa. Why are we not saving that for a pay-per-view? Like, that's pay-per-view worthy, that's being thrown away on live, that's being given to us on free for live TV. That should be saved for a pay-per-view. But like I said, I don't know what the plan is, but all ready for the St. Patrick's Day edition of Dynamite next week. they're stacking the card pretty good. We got Cody Rhodes and Penta El Zero. I can't give away the rest of the match yet, but that was already one excellent match we got announced for next week compared to whatever NXT has planned. But that was awesome. We also have a segment where basically Chuck Taylor asks Miro and Kip Sabian for one more match. And if he loses, he'll do whatever Miro wants. He'll be his butler for good. So I don't know when that match is happening, but whatever. I don't care much for that match, to be honest. Sting was interviewed. Sting puts over Darby Allin as a dangerous man who takes his big risks. But then he gets interrupted by Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts. Comes out saying he's not given time, he's going to take it. And if he doesn't start getting the opportunities he deserves, he's going to take more than time. Tony tells him this is Sting's time, and he mocked apologies before taking his leave. So I guess we're going to be doing Sting and Lance Archer. Okay, we'll see how it goes. Again, Sting I thought looked pretty good in that street fight. So, Archer, we'll see how it goes. And, it is true. They have really eased back up on Lance Archer. I'm still surprised, especially with how well they booked him when he first came to AEW last year, especially in the TNT Championship Tournament when he had that great build for that match with Cody Rhodes. Again, ever since then, they've kind of eased back on him. They've had weird booking where he's felt like a face at times, but then he's still technically a heel. So the dynamics there, a little bit on and off, but I'm intrigued to see what him and Sting can do. Maybe something good. We'll wait and see. We have that. We also have QT Marshall admitting he's only human and he'll deal with the fallout of losing his temper in the tag team battle royale. But for right now, it's Lee Johnson's time. And we also have Ethan Page get an insert promo. This was throughout this match between Ethan Page and Lee Johnson. There was some issue with the audio. It started playing commentary for a basketball game or something like that. It was pretty bad and not that watchable. And again, poor Ethan Page in his own debut. He got very crappy audio, and of course a lot of people probably got turned out by the match because of that. But I'm not going to grade this based off of that. But Ethan Page looked good. He won with the crucifix bomb. And QT Marshall makes no move to intervene as Ethan Page put boots. QT Marshall just didn't intervene, but then Dustin Rhodes came out to make the save, and then him and QT Marshall just stared each other down because again, QT Marshall turned on Dustin Rhodes at Revolution in the Casino Battle Royale. Hangman Adam Page is interviewed. He is celebrating, of course, getting all of Matt Hardy's first quarter earnings. He comes up in a fancy lawnmower and talks about all the cool stuff he's buying with it. And he gave most of it, though, to an education fund. Dark Order rolled up, and John Silver's like, is there room for more? And Page's like, hey, get on. Everybody except for Alan Angels, because there's a weight limit. But then Hangman and Dark Order drive off for ice cream, and they're, guess it's a thing now? Who knows? But, okay. Then we get this segment. Tony Schiavone's in the ring getting ready to interview the newest signee to AEW, of course, Christian Cage. But he was interrupted as Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers with Don Callis all came out. Callis says they're not going to hear from Christian because the four of them call the shots around here. They're going to take this time for themselves. He puts over Kenny Omega and also calls him the King of the Deathmatch. And Omega makes like he's blading, and then they bring up the explosion, the faulty explosion. They've taken a lot of heat the last few days. Blame them for not getting the giant explosion they thought we wanted, and he's neither going to confirm nor deny whether they had anything to do with that. But it made them happy to take it away from us regardless. Tony Khan likes to make great memories. Kenny Omega and the Invisible Hand take away great memories. Which, again, as I said, a great way to cover up, make, the best out of that faulty finish to the show. They win because Moxley and Eddie look like idiots, and they walk away with the title and do what they always do: win. Kenny takes over and says that Eddie's turn was the cherry on top. To see him cover Moxley and dry hump him in the middle of the ring while the sparkles went off, and that's a memory they'll never forget. Basically, they just mocked them for protecting each other when basically, again, the grand finale didn't go as planned. Out came Eddie Kingston, but then Don Callis starts ripping on Eddie Kingston, saying how he thought he had it all when Eddie worked for Impact, but why did he have to fire him? He did the same thing at Impact, working for Callis. He did this his entire life. He found a way to screw his success up before it happened, and he did it again at Revolution. But because he likes Eddie, and they may have history, he's going to give him 10 seconds to get out of here and pride intact before these guys kick his butt. As the countdown is going on, though, Kenny begs Callis to begs Eddie to hit him, and then eventually Eddie, snaps and he drops him. The Good Brothers jump him until Jon Moxley comes out to help him out. But then once things settle down, though, out came Christian Cage, who he came to the ring alone and gets in the ring with Kenny, stares him down. Kenny runs his mouth, offers a handshake, but then Christian Cage just denied it. And then Kenny goes to cheap shot him, but then Christian catches him and tries to hit the kill switch on him, but it didn't work as Don Callis pulled Kenny out of the ring before Christian picks up the AEW World title that Kenny left in the ring. Ooh. Is that a possible tease for a possible main event match for Double or Nothing? It's either going to be that or a 10-man tag in some sort, similar to the Stadium Stampede from last year, but we'll see when we get to that. But, oh boy. Kenny Omega versus Christian. That actually sounds pretty sick. I am hoping actually we get that match for the AEW World title at Double or Nothing. Like I said, if they want to give Kenny, another opponent, that way to give Hangman Adam Page more time to be built up before he dethrones Kenny, I'll say as early as All Out this fall. A feud with him and Christian Cage sounds good. If they want to give Eddie Kingston a world title shot, sounds good. But, and again, like I said before too, definitely, props to AEW again for making the most and trying to, come with a story based off of what happened with the explosion. But like I said, they made it work. They made, the cover-up that they screwed up work. And, again, give them credit for that, as they should. They're not perfect, but, they try to at least, fix their mistakes best they can. I think they did a very good job again handling this. We then had a 6-woman tag match with Hikaru Shida, Thunder Rosa, and Ryo Mizunami taking on a team of Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. It was supposed to be Reba, but Reba was still hurt, so now Rosa placed her, and Maki Ito. First portion of the match, Maki Ito was singing her entrance song on the stage. Like I said, it's just weird that, you have Maki Ito acting like a baby face, well, like saying basically, doing things that's going to get her cheered, but yet she's supposed to be a heel still. I still find that odd. I thought it was a good, 6-woman tag match between these 6 women. A tornillo off the top rope to the floor. Eventually, the faces win with the Emerald Flower Scene from Thunder Rosa onto Maki Ito. But afterwards, Britt Baker attacks Thunder Rosa and puts her in a lockjaw. And then it's announced that next week's main event, well, besides we're also getting a tag match with Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston versus the Good Brothers, we're also going to be getting a lights out unsanctioned match between Dr. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. That is going to be excellent. Amazing. Again, they had a very good match at Beach Break. I'm very interested to see what these 2 women can do. I'm pretty sure they can tear the house down when you get weapons and such involved. And of course, so even though it doesn't count since it's unsanctioned. Again, these two women are definitely going to destroy each other, and I cannot wait to see what they do next week. So I'm definitely intrigued by that. What's up, Tyler, in the live chat? You gave the show an A-, and AEW is better than NXT. That's for damn sure. Like I said, NXT, you're okay, but you just don't have what it takes to rule Wednesday nights. You just don't. Matt Hardy and Private Party were hanging out, basically trying to come up with a plan to bring in more money. He's adding a new signees, which is the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny, which I'm just like, because, again, weren't they still with Eddie Kingston? Like, they randomly split them up with him now, and it just, it was weird. But they're going to have a 5-man tag match next week. It's going to be Hardy, Private Party, the Butcher, and the Blade taking on 5 members of the Dark Order. As, again, Matt Hardy is trying to get revenge on the Dark Order for what they've been doing with him. We had a pretty good TNT Championship match between Darby Allin and the face of the Revolution, who grabbed the brass ring on Sunday, Scorpio Sky. Again, thought it was a good match. Again, Darby Allin, looked good, even though he just came off of a very vicious street fight when he teamed up with Sting against Team Taz, which, again, as I said, was pretty awesome, pretty dope, I will say. Darby Allin would win with the schoolboy roll-up, some good counters. Afterwards, though, Darby looks to, give Scorpio Sky some respect, as he probably expected. Well, Scorpio Sky instead snapped, put Allin in a heel lock, in a heel hook, and tries to basically hurt the ankle of Darby Allin. So Scorpio Sky, turning heel. Surprised? Okay. We'll see where it goes. Again, definitely one person I think has been super underrated. Give him. They're definitely focused on him more as a single star rather than keep him with SCU. Again, I'm intrigued to see what they do with him as a heel. So it's nice to hopefully see that they do have some serious plans going forward for Scorpio Sky. He's definitely a very underrated talent, I think. Has a lot of singles potential. So we'll see where this heel turn goes with him. We also, of course, hype up the St. Patrick's Day Slam event next week on Dynamite, featuring, again, Kingston and Moxley versus the Good Brothers, Cody Rhodes and Penta El Zero Miedo. We're also going to get Jurassic Express and Bear Country. Jurassic Express and Bear Country versus Matt Hardy's Goons. Not the Dark Order yet. Jade Cargill will be in action. Again, we'll get that unsanctioned lights out match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. Alright. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about my favorite part of this night. The closing segment. Again, this was awesome. This is my early pick for now as my segment of the year. This was quite the swerve. So, obviously, since things have not gone well at times for the Inner Circle, MJF says on Sunday, after him and Jericho lose in the tag title match, that they should have a war council and discuss how some things may need to change for the Inner Circle. So the Inner Circle comes out. Jericho says, with any great army needs to change their course. They have a war council to determine the best way to carry on. The Inner Circle has been in decline, but it's easily remedied because they're the smartest people in the business today. It's time for a new attitude, a new look, maybe even a new member. Which MJF's like, whoa, Chris. All due respect, I don't think we need a new member. But if I'm being honest, though, I think it's time we need to let somebody go. And I'm like, uh-oh. Like, this is already teasing, the MJF and Chris Jericho storyline where, MJF's supposed to be, taking over, superior one of the Inner Circle. Of course, even now, and then even after this part of it, Sammy Guevara comes out. Jericho's like, what are you doing here? Sammy's like, I know I'm the last person you want to see, and I know you're not happy, Chris, but I need to show you something. And then Guevara, after arguing, begs Jericho to watch the tape. And on the tape, we see Sammy placing a camera in the Inner Circle's dressing room. And then we fast forward until we get to MJF basically talking that it's time the Inner Circle has new leadership. And it's time to cut the head off the snake and get rid of Chris Jericho. They're all bumping fists. I'm like, oh, here it goes. Like I said, like it just felt like... It's like I said, even before I explained, I tell the whole story what happened. But like I said, I feel like they should have at least given Chris Jericho and MJF at least a brief run of the tag titles. I still think just to kind of like put a nail in the coffin on the bond between Jericho and MJF and like the trust they have basically, and maybe ride out to maybe like a little later until like Double or Nothing. But what we still got was amazing because. After Jericho sees that, MJF's like, I didn't want Jericho to find out this way, but oh well. He calls for Pride and Powerful and Jake Hager to attack Chris Jericho. And they basically turn to Jericho, and then Jericho, of course, got his bat Floyd. I'm like, oh boy, here it goes. But then they look at Jericho, and they all turn around and face MJF. Tricking MJF into thinking that the Inner Circle is going to trust him. And here's where I got, I'm like, what? Like, why? Like, again, like, to me it just felt like, they're going to have just MJF join the Inner Circle, then he gets kicked out, and that's it? I'm like, that's all you're going to do? So, I'm like, okay, now MJF's going to get beat the crap out of and get his comeuppance. Until MJF begs off of the Inner Circle, who basically, Jericho's like, yeah, we knew you were up to this the whole entire time, so now you're about to be fired and kicked out of the Inner Circle. I let you in, I can let you right back out. MJF, though, begs him off, and swearing to God that he didn't want to take over the Inner Circle. And the reason why he didn't want to take over the Inner Circle? Because he was too busy building his own. And I'm like, what? Lights go out. I'm like, who's going to be? Lights come on. There's a row of people behind Inner Circle, and I'm like, who's that? But then I notice Tully Blanchard's there with FTR and Shawn Spears. And I'm like, holy smokes, hold the phone here. People were thinking it was going to be Cody Rhodes turning heel and becoming the fourth member of basically the four horsemen of AEW. So people thought Nick Ardellis, or whatever his name is, was going to be the person. A few other possibilities. But did anyone ever consider MJF? Ooh, I love this. Again, I was in shock. They beat down on the Inner Circle with, obviously it was a team of MJF, FTR's Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler. Shawn Spears, who's probably more like the Sammy Guevara of the group, like someone who probably fighting for the TNT title, which I would love to see, because I definitely think Shawn Spears is super overrated. We got him, MJF, FTR, and Shawn Spears. Again, that is a powerful duo. And they took everyone out, including busting open Chris Jericho, turning the Inner Circle face, and just the birth of the Four Horsemen in AEW. Again, shocker, like I said. I was worried about this segment at first. When I saw it was going to be the main event, I'm like, okay, something big is happening here. Like I said, I still personally felt they should have at least given them a brief run of the tag titles, both Jericho and MJF. Gain that trust just a little bit more before you pull this stunt off. But it was still so freaking awesome. Again, I was in shock. I popped. I was just like, holy smokes. Like, MJF didn't need to take someone else's work and make it his own to make him that great. MJF literally took his own work and made his own thing. And that's how he got it to work. Again, you talk about something fresh, taking something to a different level. I'm very intrigued to see what MJF does with the rest of, his new buddies, if you want to so-called speak. But yeah, they send Jericho through a table, and that's how we went off the air. But yeah, what a show. A minus for AEW this week. Again, some of the other stuff was what it was, but we got a lot of stacked stuff set up for next week, and of course, come for AEW Double or Nothing. Okay, we could begin something with the Inner Circle and MJF's Horseman stable. We could be in Kenny Omega and Christian, maybe Dr. Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida, as would be awesome. Again, there's a lot of things scheduled to come up for sure for this. But like I said, set up very nicely. Great Fallout show from Revolution. I gave this show an A minus. In the live chat, why is Sting feuding with Lance Archer? I don't know. And we got Brady Bolsarnik. Want to see MJF take the Ric Flair role in the new Horseman. And knowing his talents, he very well could. But guys, that was my AEW Dynamite review again. Excellent show, especially that ending. Gave it an A minus. What are your thoughts on the show, guys? What are your thoughts on the build of Double or Nothing and other stuff going on with the show? Make sure you leave your comments down in the comment section below. Slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAir93. And guys, that being said, I'm checking out. I will try really quickly to finish my WrestleMania 37 card breakers. If not, those will be uploaded tomorrow. And then we'll go from there. Guys, thanks for joining me live. Have a great night. I'll see you guys all later. Peace out, everybody.